Okay, next up in our fan over voltage testing, let's get this 5015 out of the way. We have a GDStime 5 volt 3007 fan, rated at 0.15 amps. The reason this one's interesting is because it's commonly used in Voron as a V0.1 hot end fan, and it's kind of got the reputation being a bit underpowered, a bit weedy. The V0.1 has some issues with heat creep sometimes with these fans. So there's some alternative hot end designs with space for a 10mm fan, etc. But what if you don't want to use a 10mm fan? And don't forget that a 10mm fan won't really fit without losing build volume if you're using one of the larger hot ends like a Dragon. So, I mean, ideally, you'd be able to get more airflow out of this by running it at a high voltage. But how high can it run? Well, it runs at 6 volts, and you can hear it get quite a bit louder. I mean, I guess that's 20% more voltage. It's now drawing 1.6 amps, and if we remember, this is rated at 0.15 amps. I say 1.6, I mean 0.16, obviously. So it's drawing slightly more amps than it's supposed to, therefore dissipating more watts, obviously. But at 7 volts, it still runs. Now you can really hear that it is blowing a lot harder. Would this be enough? What about 8 volts? I mean, yeah, it's still going. Definitely blowing harder. Or 9. I did hear a popping noise, but it is still running at 10. Did you hear the popping noise? Still the 5 volt fan, still running at 10 volts. And it still runs fine at 5. Let's stop the fan entirely. Just turn the output off. So it stops. I mean, the question is whether after the abuse is taken it will start again. So let's go straight to 10 volts. Yeah, it works. I mean, it's using 2.6 watts now, so that's quite a bit more than it should use, and 0.25 amps, so again quite a bit more at a much higher voltage. Ideally I want to get to 12 volts, just because, I mean, I know that's not an easily available voltage on the V0, but it'd just be nice to know it ran at 12 volts. Maybe I imagined the pop. I mean, I guess you can hear it on the video. Or maybe the pop wasn't what I thought it was. But it does seem to run at 12 volts. I mean, that's surely got to be enough for a 0.1 hot end. I mean, this thing is screaming. The hub, does the hub feel warm? No, the hub doesn't feel warm. What we're going to do, Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 5:07 p.m.
So Alexa says it's 5:07 p.m. We'll be back, I don't know, let's say 5:30. Let's see what happens. Okay, it is now, what time is it? 17:22. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 5:22 p.m.
And the fan is still going. I've clipped it, I've just put the wire through the clip of the screwdriver, only to stand it up because it made a horrible fucking noise when it was right on the table. As you can see, it's still running at 12 volts. It hasn't imploded. I mean, I assume it will still run fine at 5 volts. I mean, yeah, but it's boring. Like, who wants a 5 volt fan? I feel like, because I just feel a bit like, with this GDStime blower, we didn't really go to the point of destruction, did we? So let's go up by 0.1 volts at a time and see what happens. I mean, that does sound like it's running a bit faster now. And again now. It doesn't sound like it's running any faster at 17. But let's, just in case you didn't believe me, This is still a 5-volt fan. I mean, you can see the wires coming out and going round in the spaghetti and attached to the fan. At 24 volts, it definitely slows. Okay, at 24 volts, it stops. And it doesn't start again. Okay, so don't run 5-volt fans at 24 volts. But, I mean, we had a lot of headroom there. It wasn't until, I mean, it was running fine at 20 volts. It did drop off in its acceleration. But, I mean, I think that would run at 12 for quite a while, don't you? I mean, it ran for, what, 15, 20 minutes without a problem. It was only when we really ramped the voltage it didn't like it. Oh, it is getting warm now. Let's turn the output off. Maybe it has some sort of protection or something. I'll let it cool and see if it comes back on.